Tyrell Cameron could not have been more excited about the upcoming football season. His mother, Shamika, had just bought him an expensive pair of cleats.
These are his cleats right here that he ordered offline that he wanted so bad. He customized them, designed them himself. They came in 3 weeks before his first game, and he won one time for his first game. That was it.
Just about getting underway here. These games count. They count, Cody.
Winsboro, Louisiana, September 4th, 2015. Tyrell Cameron's Franklin Parish team is playing at home against Sterlington High School in the season opener for both teams. Early in the fourth quarter, trailing 14-0, Franklin Parish was punting.
Here's a snap, Major punts it, line drives.
It's no different really than any other play I'd seen, 100 times.
I set the walls running around, and I saw Tyrell Cameron running. He didn't see me at the time.
We have a Patriot that is down and not moving. And he's unconscious at all.
When I first realized that it was pretty serious is when our trainer, who's has even killed a guy as I know, I could kind of see in his face. I won't say he panicked, but I could see the concern in his face that paramedics needed to get there quickly.
Tyrell Cameron was lying motionless on the turf. He'd been blocked, cleanly, by Cody Seward, a 5'5", 145-pound junior linebacker.
I thought he was just hurt, like he hurt his knee, or like he was just laying there for a few minutes, and then you just get like a gut feeling like something's wrong here.
Tyrell's mother wasn't at the game. She was in Texas, attending a family funeral.
I had got a phone call from my cousin, and he was like, Mika, Tyrell hit, but he's not getting up. I could just feel that it wasn't good.
Tyrell's neck was broken. He died that night.
The thoughts at the moment were I'd killed somebody. I just broke down and cried right then.
I just immediately went to his ear and just started speaking truth to him. That, hey man, you're a clean player. It was a clean hit.
The first thing that goes through your mind is first was Tyrell's mama.
When we got the phone call, we just got back on the road, and I really just felt like I was going crazy, like I could not breathe, and that we couldn't get here fast enough.
The second was, how is everybody going to react? I was so scared that, they would blame him.
But in the days that followed Tyrell's death, no one blamed Cody Seward, except perhaps Cody himself, who withdrew from his friends and family.
It was like all a blur, trying to get through the days.
I know he didn't want to keep talking about it. All I could do is just be there and be beside him and, give him that hug when he needs it.
Even as she grieved for her son, Shamika Cameron worried about Cody Seward.
So the day of the funeral, they came down, his mom, his dad, and Cody. And I got a chance to hug him, and I just told him it wasn't his fault and that it's okay.
Meeting the family, it was just a huge weight lifted off, but it's still not, normal.
He wanted to quit football, and I was like, tell him don't quit football, no, keep going, because Tyrell wouldn't hang his jersey up. Wasn't nobody gonna stop him.
There was someone else who made a difference for Cody, too. Someone who could understand precisely what he was feeling. In October 1989, Brad Gaines, a Vanderbilt running back, was hit from behind by Chucky Mullins, an Ole Miss defensive back. Mullins was paralyzed. He died 18 months later.
It's still the first thing I think about when I wake up. It's the last thing I think about when I go to sleep.
After receiving a phone call about the tragedy in Winsboro, Gaines drove 460 miles from his home in Nashville to meet with Cody.
He opened up, we spoke. We talked about homecoming, we talked about his girlfriend, we talked about everything.
He's probably one of the people who's helped me more than most people, you know. He just was one of the people who understood what you were going through at the time, you know. Like, you can't, like, replicate that. Like, no one knows what you're going through.
If here is a guy that's struggling, and if maybe I can help him with something, if all that it costs me is a 20-hour round-trip drive, it's worth it.
As Gaines was helping Cody come to terms with the circumstances of Tyrell's death, the Franklin Parish and Sterlington communities bonded in their shared grief. Sterlington, north of Monroe, is 80% white, mostly middle class. Franklin Parish High School is 57 miles south, in Winsboro, which is 65% African American and largely impoverished. Just 6 nights after Tyrell died, Franklin Parish played its next game. The Sterlington team was there.
Just prior to the Franklin Parish team running out, they actually sent their cheerleaders over to us and invited us to come run out with them. The following night was our ball game, so we in turn invited them to run out with us, and thought that was important.
In that display of togetherness, Shamika Cameron has found meaning in her son's death.
Look at the people that he brought together. It was black, it was whites, it was rich, it was poor. It didn't matter about color, money, nothing.
Seeing these kids, these teenage kids, show unity amidst tragedy in a town that doesn't always get that right. There was a bigger story unfolding. When we look back on this time in 30 years, I think only then will we understand truly the moments that have been set into motion and the ripple effect of that night.
As for Cody, he's back on the field. Nearly 2 months after Tyrell's death, at a Sterlington home game, Tyrell's family gave Cody dog tags etched with a picture of Tyrell. Inscribed were the words, "Do it for Rel."
I just gotta try and get through it, you know, just get on with my life, but remember him as I continue.
I still be waiting on him to come home sometimes. And I still be looking for those phone calls sometimes. Just hearing his voice, his smile, his smell. I just miss him as a person.